Welcome to TAP's Industry Analysis TIA Spotlight. 3 questions in 9 minutes. Yes, a short amount of time, but it will absolutely be full of great stuff. My name is John Ragsdale, co-founder of TAP Innovations, and we have a special guest and a great friend of mine today, Charles Savage, Client Service Executive at Midwest Consulting Group. Thanks for joining our show today, Charles.
Hi, thanks for having me, John.
You bet. However, before we get started with the questions, please introduce yourself and your company in less than 30 seconds.
Sure, John. As you mentioned, my name is Charles Savage with Midwest Consulting Group. I represent our Dallas office. We have headquarters in Kansas, and we provide IT resources on a national scale. We've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth market since 1996 and been supplying IT resources for IT projects nationally for going on 26 plus years.
Wow, that's amazing. 26 years, man, that's some serious history. Excellent. Glad to have you today. We're going to jump right in though. As we all know very well, we are experiencing one of the craziest situations I've ever witnessed, COVID-19. So let's start with business challenges that you, your teams, your customers, or your vendors are experiencing in your industry. Question number 1, what are those new challenges that you are facing since this COVID-19 stuff started disrupting the world?
Well, thanks again for having me, John. I do appreciate the fresh perspectives that you're getting by performing these interviews and seeking out different industries and getting their perspectives for the IT staffing world. And my company Midwest, we were able to transition to remote. We all have laptops and we take them home occasionally when we need to work outside of normal business hours. So the transition was different for sure, but we were able to do it. And of course, all of our clients and their IT teams, they have similar setups where they can work remote as well. Nothing new to them. So the big impact has been with corporations and their business, the business side and their capital budgets. Obviously, I'll call it a boom or bust market. Some industries like healthcare and retail and grocery and financial services, they're busier than ever, and they've seen an uptick in staffing needs. And in fact, lots of those industries have multiple gaps and have multiple job openings, so they're still hiring at a frequent pace. However, other industries like oil and gas that have been impacted significantly, and other small businesses that have had to close their shops and shelter in place or honor stay-at-home mandates, they're having to implement hiring freezes and go through furloughs and have shifts in their project focuses for the time being.
Those are real challenges, Charles, right? The boom or bust, right? It's got essential industries and non-essential industries all kind of wrapped into that melting pot. So with those challenges, what are you and your colleagues there at Midwest Consulting Group, what are you doing to work with those challenges?
Well, obviously the challenge of working at home internally is different. I have some new accountability partners, my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old. So they want to know where daddy is at all times. They want to know when he starts work and when he's taking lunch and when he's going to get off and get to play with them. So
they have their priorities.
They do. So just the internal nature of working from home is much different, but I'm starting actually week 5 of working at home for myself. I have some family members that are immunocompromised. I have some family members that work in healthcare and also others that work in daycare. And those are essential businesses that stay open. They have interfaced with folks that have been COVID-19 positive or presumptive positive and have had to be tested. I have a child myself, as you know, who has some medical vulnerabilities and needs specific foods and formulas and prescriptions on a regular basis. So here at home, not just working remote, we also put a lot of effort into taking inventory just on the home medical supplies. And we can't just run out and get those often or as easily accessible as we normally can. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that the inventory is there and we're not going to run out of critical supplies. Now, changing gears from a business perspective for clients and contractors, we're being very creative and flexible in all aspects of staffing. We are taking on jobs that maybe we normally do the IT technical jobs. That's our bread and butter, but we're staying open to any and all requirements. We fill business needs regularly as well. But if a client has a need, we're going to go to bat for them, and we're going to go find that resource. We're thinking outside the box for all new assignments and really on any accounts. We just want to be there to help the local DFW economy, and also on a national scale. Hopefully, we'll have some impact as well. Internally, from a communication standpoint, much has changed. Obviously, everybody's working remote. We're doing Zoom meetings. We're calling each other and messaging each other regularly. Some fun. We're trying to keep it light, though. Some fun things that we've implemented. We have a GroupMe app, and our whole team is on there, the recruiters and the salespeople. And so we keep in touch oftentimes in the middle of the week just to break it up. You'll see on the GroupMe app people messaging what they're having for dinner. So someone will message steak and potatoes, the other person will message, pork chops and green beans. And we're just trying to keep it light and fun and keep the communication back and forth, and not necessarily all business all the time, because we know there's a lot of stress and anxiety out there due to the COVID-19. Sometimes I'll pick up the phone, John, and just call some of my coworkers, and I tell them I want to hear their kids in the background, because no matter who I'm talking to, whether it's a contractor, an architect, an engineer, a developer, or whether it's a hiring manager, we all have our lives running in the background. And I want our internal employees to understand, and my peers, that it's normal and it's okay, and we can all work through this together. So we're keeping it fun.
Those are some great ideas, and I agree with you. Right, life is going to continue, and we all have lives, and it's okay. It's normal to hear the chitter chatter or the interruptions or the photo bombing, whatever that might be. Right, that is okay. Now for the last question, and it's a brainstorming question. It makes you think outside the box. If money and resources were not an issue, what would you do?
Well, that's a great question. I've been seeing a lot of folks just in our neighborhood do some really creative things outside of the box. We've had some Taco Tuesdays in our neighborhood where they send a taco truck through. I've seen people doing the Chalk the Walk, where you write inspirational messages on the sidewalk. I've even seen a live concert in somebody's driveway, just in the neighborhood. I'm reaching out to neighbors that I know are immunocompromised as well, and offering some extra masks that we may have on hand. So those are all things that we can do, really that don't cost, that are limited in how much they cost. So it's really been nice to see people think outside the box and deliver things that help people and impact people's lives that aren't tied to finances necessarily. If I had unlimited funds, John, wow, I think the first thing I would do is probably protect local small businesses that are really being impacted. I know one of my sons, he has therapy sessions regularly, which we can't attend anymore. So we're transitioning to telemedicine, and I know how important it is for this therapy place that's made a big impact on his life to keep the copays and keep the invoices flowing so that they can keep the lights on. And when this is all over, I still want them to be standing because they've made such an impact on my son's life through these therapies. So we're participating in telemedicine, and same thing for like preschools. I mean, they're having to refund a lot of March's admission fees, and you know, April they're not going to have any admission fees. And how do these organizations that depend on this, how do they stay afloat? So if I could just cut a blank check, it would probably be just to the local area to support the businesses.
That's a really big challenge for the small to medium business, because it's like a ripple effect, right? One thing affects another thing, affects another thing, affects another thing, and everybody's affected in multiple ways. So I'm with you.
Sure.
If I had that opportunity, I would do the same thing. Great ideas. I appreciate you sharing both on a personal level as well as the business level. Hopefully this video inspires you, others, to find ways to implement some of those things during this pandemic to help others. Any final comments from you, Charles?
You know, hopefully at the end of this, it brings everyone together and teaches us all to slow down and enjoy the finer things in life, and our immediate family. We work at such a high, rapid pace sometimes that can be a challenge, and hopefully it's opened our eyes. I hope that as we enter into this phase over the next few weeks of considering reopening business, we are so very eager to do that, but also we want to make sure that those folks that are vulnerable or in high-risk categories are protected as well. You know, any opportunity to serve your community, I jump at it. I've seen churches, you know, doing drive-through food banks and doing delivery to elderly homes. I've seen, you know, we want to make sure our logistics and our supply chain are taking care of those that need durable medical equipment, and also just be there. I want to be there to make sure that we're an open sounding board for those that are unemployed and need employment. So you know, I'd like to be a central hub for all those who are looking for to get back to work. You know, stay in touch and let's stay positive and let's look forward to the reopening that's in the near future.
I'm with you, and I echo your sentiments and your points. Excellent. Again, thank you, Charles Savage, Client Services Executive at Midwest Consulting Group, for joining us here on TAP's Industry Analysis TIA Spotlight. Stay safe, 6 or more feet apart, and healthy, and let's work together to battle through these challenging times.